mind. Super excited to bring you another guest from the accepted system tonight. So we initially had started a previous video, and for some reason Facebook cut us out. So this is take two, but nonetheless, extremely excited to bring on this winner. Sylvia, let's bring you on, my friend. Her on. Brittany. Warren, good to have you here. Britt, good to have you here.
Okay, there we
Yo,
go.
Sylvia, I don't know what Facebook is doing, my friend. I
I
have
don't
no
even know
idea.
either.
No idea. Yo, we were going in, and then Facebook decided to kick us out. So it's all good though. So tonight, Sylvia is going to be sharing her story from the point where she went to our school, by the way. She's an alumnus of the same university that Casey and I went to. She's also an alumnus of the accepted system, but she's going to be sharing her story, which had a few bumps in the road that for most pre-PTs usually leads to quitting, usually leads to switching careers, changing your mind, which I'm sure Sylvia felt like she needed to do sometimes.
You
But
understand?
Sylvia, we want to know how you did it. So tonight, I'm telling you, I was on the phone with you, girl. That's the thing. But the honest truth is, tonight she's going to be sharing her journey from the beginning, but really sharing how she navigated through those obstacles. Because the biggest thing that I need y'all to understand is a lot of it is the belief to succeed usually is associated with what we see as being possible. And for Sylvia, there's a lot of times in her journey, as y'all will learn tonight, there's a lot of times in her journey where she really didn't feel like it was all too possible. Sorry, many times in her journey. And she needed the right people to keep, directing her and pushing her. But really, I want to hear from you, Sylvia. I'm not going to
Okay.
do all the talking. So Sylvia, let's start
Okay.
from the beginning. Before
All
we
right.
dive in, why physical therapy? Why did you choose the profession? And then we'll dive into your journey and how you ultimately got accepted into PT school. Talk to us, my friend.
Okay. So, first of all, like I said previously, being a first generation child of an immigrant family, like there's always this stereotype that you have to be either a doctor, lawyer, engineer, nurse, something like that, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And so I had it set out that I was going to be a surgeon. And so my senior year of high school, I was a part of this youth program. It was through this youth corps program through AmeriCorps. They pretty much like help graduating seniors start getting ready for like college application process and stuff like that. And they were pretty much going through different careers, like just trying to get students exposed to that. And so my career path was the healthcare field. So we pretty much went and did tours in the hospital and stuff, like going through all the careers and stuff that they had there. And
You weren't feeling it. You were.
getting through the rest of like the building, and we finally got to like the PT unit, and I said, "Oh, what is this?" And so we were pretty much getting tours of like the pediatric floor, and they were working with students like and working with people with prosthetics and stuff like that. And I just thought that was pretty cool. And then we also got to like shadow like aqua physical therapy. It was like in the swimming pool, so they pretty much took their
Aquatic
patients.
PT. Yeah.
Yeah, aquatic PT. Yeah. So we were doing that, and I really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed like the people who they were working with. I enjoyed how they interacted with everyone, and I was like, "Yep, this is it." I said, "This is it," because I want to be able to work with people. I want to be able to actually like make an impact in people's lives, because I always want to do something in healthcare, and I guess that was like a perfect match for me. So after that pretty much started my journey to PT school. I went to a community college first. I did 2 years at a community college, and then I transferred to 4 year. That's when I transferred to Andrews. Took my prereqs for my first 2 years, and I ended up getting 2 C's in 2 of my classes, and I I was very disappointed because those were the first 2 C's I've ever had in my entire life.
Wow.
And I I had to keep telling myself, like, I kept hearing it from everybody else, C's get degrees. Like, so I was like, all right, bet. I'm just going to keep going, keep
We
pushing.
all hear it.
Look. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to keep going, keep doing what I got to do. Transfer to Andrews, and I had my major in pre-PT, but being that I was a transfer student, you would still had to take requirements that was based on that school. Like you still had to take other classes for that school in order to graduate. And if I would have done that, I would have had to stay like an extra year because those were like extra classes that I had to take. So I switched my major to exercise science, or like wellness with a concentration in fitness. And being that, what was it, like every Tuesday and Thursday they have like those choice programs?
Yeah, Tuesday and Thursday. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You are the first person.
Yep,
Like
I'm
Sylvia,
telling you,
you the first person that's literally taking me back to college, like in terms of how Andrews used to run. But yeah, Tuesday and Thursday, you could kind of pick what electives you wanted to do and get credit for and stuff like that. But go on.
Yeah. So they had that, and it was like based on your program and stuff that you were in, and because I was like on the PT track and exercise science and stuff, we were getting tours of like the physical therapy department at Andrews and stuff like that. That's where I initially met you and Casey, because this was like I was a part of pre-PT grind before it was a pre-PT grind. Like that was when y'all were doing like that.
Hello.
I was a part of it way before.
She the OG of the OGs, y'all.
Yeah. That was when y'all were like just doing like the little mentorship thing, like getting people to. I think it was like you and your entire class, like your class was just helping people like with the application process and stuff like that. So that was that. I graduated from Andrews. I was going to apply that year, but then I realized that I still had like those C's on my transcript. And I went to talk to the advisor there, and she was like, "Oh yeah, if you don't retake your classes and stuff, you're pretty much not going to be as competitive to apply for the program." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I didn't think of it as I could actually fix that. I thought that was something that was definite. So I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess I won't apply now. I'll see like what else I can do." So after that, I was still on the PT track, so I was trying to find a job like out of college to give me like some observation experience and stuff like that, so I could still like start building up my application, because I was still gonna apply. I just didn't think I was ready to apply at that time. And so I was taking my GRE, I was working, doing all that stuff, and I took my GRE and I did not get. I got a score that was enough for them to like consider my application, but it wasn't like competitive, and I didn't know that PT school applications were that competitive. Like I did not know that. This was the first time I applied, and so I was just applying to schools. I had no idea. Like that first time I applied to what was it, 7 schools the first time, and I got rejected from all of them, and and so and I got waitlisted at one, had the interview and everything, and apparently like when you get waitlisted, you have to wait and see if they drop the program, like if they drop or whatever, and then you're next on the list. They didn't end up dropping, so I pretty much was rejected. So I got rejected from all the schools I applied to.
Before I even let you go any further, what was happening? So the reason why I want us to kind of like lock in on this, and we have Carol here, we have Lawrence, Yeslin, Christopher, Eric, and a lot of other winners. Thank you guys for joining us here tonight. And for those of y'all that just joined us, this is Sylvia. She's one of our accepted system winners. But really what she's doing is she's sharing her story to how to PT school acceptance and just how it was uniquely different for her. But honestly, a lot of the things that she's sharing right now are things that a lot of you have either gone through or are currently going through. And so Sylvia, at this point, you're definitely locked in on physical therapy. You've been given advice by the same advisor we had. You, myself, Casey, we all had the same advisor, for our pre-PT. This is kind of cool. Like, we have the same advisor for our pre-PT journey, but after that, like, there's one thing you said, first of all, before we go further, that you're like, I didn't really think I could do anything about it. It was kind of like okay, like,
Yeah.
guess I can't do anything about it. And you ended up still applying blindly, where you knew that you wanted to be, you were like, shoot, let me just give it a shot and see what happens. Get rejected at all the schools. What's happening in your mind at that time? Because the biggest thing, Femi, Simon, Esther, thank you guys so much for joining us here tonight. Like, what's going through your head at that time? Like, what are the thoughts? Like, that you've been putting in the work. You had those classes, those few C's, those 2 C's. Shantez, what's up? Like, what's going through your head at that time? You're like, man, okay, like, they told me I wouldn't have a good shot, okay? So now I applied, it did not happen. What's going through your head, knowing what you said at the very beginning? Femi, it's a fear for many people. Knowing that you said, y'all, Sylvia and I are more alike than we realized, but knowing where our families come from, knowing that our families' expectations weren't even PT. They were become a physician, they were become a lawyer, they were become an engineer. Like, that's what our families wanted. And now you didn't even think apply to PT was gonna be that hard. So
I really
what's
didn't.
going through your head at this time?
Oh, I thought I was like big a disappointment because first of all, to my parents, because I was like, oh, I'm not in school right now. Like, I'm still like just working. Like, I was very disappointed in myself because I thought I was actually doing something, but I wasn't, because I was like, okay, well, like they said, you miss all the shots you don't take. At least take a shot and see if you're gonna get somewhere. And I took the shot and didn't get through. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know what to do next. Like, I really, like, I'm stuck. And so that's when I reached back out to you and Casey, and I was like, okay, like, I don't know what else to do, like, what I gotta do or whatever. And so that's when you guys started the Facebook group. And so you guys sent me the link to that, so I added myself on there. I was like, okay, I can ask all these questions and stuff like that. And then you guys put on there the video, what was it? How to apply to PT school without wasting time or money, yeah. Because when I applied that first time, there's so much money that was spent into sending the applications, into getting the transcripts, into taking the GRE. And mind you, I had to retake the GRE like 3 times because the first time I got my scores was like bare minimum, like just to get at least like considered. And then I had to retake it again because I was like, okay, I can't, like, I actually got to put some effort into it. Retook it again, and I actually got a lower score than the one I had previously. And that killed me because I was like, I just spent $200 on this test, and I actually put in the effort for studying and stuff, and I got like a worse score. And I'm like, what's going on? And so I had to retake it again, ended up getting a higher score that time. So I was like, okay, I got the GRE out of the way. Like, that's done. And so I'm just like, what else do I have to do?
Do you remember how much money? So someone's asking, how much did you originally spend? Do you remember how much money you spent? Because you said you applied to how many schools? 7?
I applied to 7 schools, and most of the applications, what was it? The first one was like that $200.
Like 150. So like between your, if you're just applying to those 7 schools plus your You said you had the GRE as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, like $650 or $700 already, and
And then
we haven't touched anything else. That's just from
no.
that.
And
So
then
you could
not
have done
even
anywhere between 700 to like up 1,000 maybe.
yeah, yeah, because some schools they had their own application fees and stuff like that, and so that was extra on top of
Hmm.
it. And oh my gosh,
Yeah,
wow,
because
that
each
was a
school on
lot of
top of that's like
money.
additional 50. Yeah,
Yep, yep,
it's money.
that was a lot of money.
It's
And
money.
so
So go.
oh, and so that's when I saw the video of how to get into PT school. It was like the webinar for the pre-PT success program. That was when you guys were
Hmm.
like first doing it. And so I was like,
Hmm.
oh, okay. So let me go. I said, at first it looked like it was about to be like expensive because I mean, it's money, like you got to pay for it. But I said, let me actually invest in myself to actually get help because I know that this is going to take me to where I need to be in the long run. So I was like, okay, I'm actually going to put in like the effort to do what I got to do. And so joining that group was something that I needed because I actually needed like the support in the community because I felt like I was stuck. I didn't have any help. Like I was doing this by myself. And so I was able to get like at least a plan. Like with you and Casey, you guys were able to like help me find schools that matched my academic profile and stuff like that. Help me like pretty much take a 180 with my application, like just to get me to figure out what I actually needed to do to apply the right way. Um, and so I can't. That was next application cycle. So I was like, all right, I know what I got to do. Let me apply again. And mind you, at the same time, like I had a couple friends who were applying to PT school as well. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm getting information from y'all. Might as well like relay it onto them because I'm like, I want to see us all win. Like we all gotta get
You're like
into
dropping fire forums, like, hey.
exactly. Yeah, that's all. I'm like, okay, let's do that. So
Yep.
while I was filling out my applications, I was helping them with theirs and everything, and they got accepted to PT school, and I didn't. Like,
Mm, mm,
like they already got their acceptance letters and everything, and I was still waiting, or I either already got rejection letters and stuff like that. I was like, okay,
mm,
what am I doing wrong this time? Like I was like, I thought I like did what
mm,
I was supposed to do. And I kept getting rejection letters, and so people just kept telling me, "Oh, maybe you need to like find a plan B, or maybe you need
ooh,
to maybe this isn't for
ooh,
you, or maybe you need to look into okay, not downing on chiropractors or whatever, but they're like maybe you should choose chiropractors because it's like the next best thing." And I'm like,
wow.
okay, I said I was set out for physical therapy. That's what I wanted to do. That's not
Yep.
that's not chiropractic. Like I was stuck in my mind that I was doing physical therapy because I did not have a plan B. Like I did not know what I was gonna do. So I was like, it's either I get into PT school or I don't know. And
Yeah.
so I was pretty much waiting it out. Like so a couple months.
Were we really waiting it out? So Sylvia, like I think sometimes like you're not giving yourself enough credit. So let me kind of talk about Sylvia a little bit because she's 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 making it seem like it's like and it's, no, like it's hard. Like let's be real. Like y'all, listen, this is live for a reason, right? Like this is not like is this like staged or whatever? Like no,
No,
no, no.
no, 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 no.
This is real. So let's get real quick. So you had applied, you had gotten rejected. You were shooting in the dark.
Hmm.
This next time you were not shooting in the dark,
I actually
but a
had
lot of
like a
it,
target.
yeah, you had a target, you had clarity, you had a lot more control. But the biggest challenge was the hurdles that you mentally have to, because what happens is this, y'all, like anxiety. So anxiety and excitement have have the same like physical, well, not like extreme anxiety, but like in little situations, like, you know, minor anxiety, like it's usually like that sense of nervousness. It has a lot of the same
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
physical
Whew.
like presentation. And so usually we associate it with like I'm anxious, something is wrong. And usually what that means is we mentally tell ourselves it's going to be the worst case scenario. And the honest truth is, Sylvia, the honest truth is you still like had the worst case scenario like perspective,
Hmm.
even with having a clear path. I only know that because you and I have
I
had
know.
such
I
great
know. I know. I know.
conversations.
I know.
Like so,
I know.
so you and I are just like we like fam. But the honest truth is, like it happens to so many of us. So what happens is, as we're applying, if you're listening right now and you're applying this cycle, and Facebook's been kicking us out. So if you did miss part one, please go watch part one. This is an interview with Sylvia Romilus, who is one of our accepted system winners, who got accepted into PT school and has been sharing with us her journey to acceptance, which has been was pretty bumpy to say the least. And so for her, it consisted of her getting rejected the first. What's up, Fallon? How you doing? It consisted of her getting rejected the first time she applied to to 7 schools. The second time she applied, initially things did not look like they were going so well, and now she's transitioning to talking about what she did to ultimately get accepted. So I'm gonna add Sylvia on here, and then let's see if it works. And half. It looks like it's connecting.
Okay.
Perfect. Yo, Sylvia,
Hmm.
Facebook doesn't want us on here for some
I,
reason. I don't know why. Like,
I don't know
they
what's
just keep
going
kicking
on.
us out. So, yo, it's okay. It's okay. This is gonna be the only other half we're gonna do. So I'm gonna name the other one part one. This is gonna be part two. But Sylvia, I was updating everyone on a little bit of what you had said before. As a
Hmm.
student that had been rejected the first cycle, the second cycle, you were telling us that you had gotten stuck, and you were like, "Man, I've put in the work. I've I've gotten direction for the first time. I'm actually applying, knowing with clarity what I should be doing." But the mental hurdle that you were having was one that we all do. Like the reason why we related so much is because like I was just telling you stories of my experience and the stuff that like you remember those talks. I was like, yo, Sylvia, like I hear you, and I would tell you stories because the biggest thing that we were saying before is that anxiety and excitement have the same physical response, and that response is nervousness, right? And so if you interpret it incorrectly, your actions are going to be very, very different. So if you interpret like anxiety comes from the interpretation that my end result is going to be the worst case scenario. So if right now I'm applying, or if I'm Sylvia, I might know everything. I might, or even you're taking the GRE, you might know everything. You might have prepped well. But if I'm telling myself, yo, like this is what's going to happen, I'm just going to get rejected again. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to disappoint my family because that was a big fear for both of us, like to disappoint our families. I'm just going to disappoint my family. I'm going to disappoint myself. So what happens is the actions that you take, sometimes it's just not doing anything at all. Other times it's unplugging completely from the source that's been giving you like your charge. Other times it's just kind of like because think about it, when you're so afraid of what's about to happen, your actions speak that as well. Like if I'm scared of what's about, like there's no way I'm just gonna go and just do a bunch of stuff because I'm not compelled to do it. I'm spending a lot of my
Hmm.
time like stressing. And then the other side is excitement. Excitement has like nervousness as well. And so excitement though changes your actions. When you're excited, it's when you're saying, yo, like I can see the best case scenario happening. And many times you literally just have to literally like tell yourself that. Like one of the things I used to tell Sylvia and a few of the students in her class in the acceptance system is like you have to literally start like convincing yourself that you're a doctor already. Like put like stick, yo, what's up, Isaac? Like put sticky notes everywhere and just like doctor. Like you have to see it so that you tell yourself, yo, like this is it. This is it. And what that does is it changes the actions that you take. Even you can know everything, but it changes how you play the game. It changes how you communicate. It changes your demeanor. And that was really our biggest battle. So now
Hmm.
Sylvia, looking back and saying, yo, like I remember that. Like I remember having those tough conversations. I remember having to kind of, find a few people that, were close to me to kind of help, talk me off that ledge. Like, what can you say to a pre-PT right now who is in that situation? A pre-PT who is like, yo, like, I'm trying, like, I think I have it together, but I'm freaking out. Like, I'm like, a lot of the emotions that you're feeling, like, what now, looking back, knowing that your end result was still the one that you had dreamed about, like, what would you say to that student right now?
You need to get out of your head. Like, that's it. I'm telling you, the thoughts that you
Mm,
think will eventually take over how you act on certain things. Um, I don't know, man. That was my biggest problem, is because I was taking in so much negativity, and I was just wallowing in it because that's
mm-hmm.
all I had. I didn't have like that positive environment, and you also have to um, realize that when you need help, you need to actually reach out and get it. That's what people are there for. Um, you're not doing this by yourself. There's people out there who are willing to help you. There's people out there who are willing to talk you through things that you need to do. Like you gotta humble yourself and ask for help. That was my biggest issue. That was my biggest issue. Like, get out of your head. That's it. Like, this is a whole mental game.
Mm,
Oh my gosh, it's a mental game.
it is. It is. And now looking back, well, tell us the conclusion of the story, because
Well, okay,
tell us about the day that everything finally fell in place.
okay. Um, so pretty much, I was still in that. I hadn't heard anything back from any schools or whatever. I just so happened to go on Facebook that one day when you guys were doing that live training with Dr. Saifai from Florida
Hmm.
Southern, and they said they were still accepting applications and stuff, and because they had like their brand new program opening up and everything. And I said, okay, look, God, if this is my sign, this is the last time I'm filling out this application, the last time. And mind you, this wasn't on PT Cast, so I had to redo the whole application. Like, it wasn't saved or anything. So I had to re-ask my references. I had to re-get my observation hours and everything. And so filled out the application. Um, didn't hear anything from them from like a good month. And I was like, there it is again. Like, I don't know if this is gonna be a good result or not. And so
Getting
I
in your
was like,
head.
I was getting in my head again. I was
Yeah.
like, look, maybe this isn't for me.
Mm.
Um, I was like really considering looking into other options, and then like a day later, I finally got the interview email. I'm telling you,
Keep moving.
when I like
Mm.
things just kept falling into place. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I was
Go on.
so shook.
Yeah.
Um, and so went to the interview. Interview was great. Like, wow, it was amazing. The next week or a week and a half later, um, I was at the gym and I so happened to look at my phone and it said, "Congratulations, you have been accepted into physical
Say that
therapy
again.
program."
Congratulations. What? Say that again, Sylvia.
Congratulations. It
Man.
said, "Congratulations, you have been accepted into the PT program." And okay, so Joseph was one of my references, and he said when I get accepted into the PT program, like, he has to be at least one of the top 7, top 11 people who I call to let them know.
Girl, top three. Stop playing.
Top
Stop playing.
3. Top 3. And that same day I got that acceptance letter, I called Joseph. I said,
Yo,
I
I
said
was in the
you were one of
clinic.
the top 3.
Oh my
I
goodness.
said you were one of the top 3. I was gonna tell.
Y'all have no idea. So I don't normally pick up the phone when I'm in the clinic. But like, if I ever see someone call me, like, I always tell the students this, like, if anyone ever calls me, it's either because like all hell has broken loose, and I'm like the last person on earth that they have contact with, and they're like going to the hospital and something crazy's happened, or they got into PT school, right? Like usually I get a text or something like that, and then we schedule a call. But I saw that and I was like, yo, it's done. So like I had everything taken care of. I went to the room and we talked. We talked. And
Mm-hmm.
Sylvia, what your story is the story of so many other pre-PTs. And the one thing that your story even shows is the power, like many others. There's gonna be y'all gonna be seeing a lot of students coming in over the next week and a half that have different stories, different struggles. Sometimes it's low GPA, other times it's rejection. Whatever it is, like it's resilience.
It was that and
Y'all,
perseverance.
so
Like, wow.
yeah, like like you have to persevere, but you have to do it in a way where you're not finding yourself just like guessing or just trying different random things. Like if you had applied the way you applied the first time over and over, come on now, like we're just
Oh
we're
no.
just shoot we're just shooting blanks. Like we're not really doing anything that's actually actively setting you up for acceptance. And so
Mm-hmm.
for you now, as an accepted PT student who went through this journey where you had the doubts that came from family, you had the doubts that came, personal doubts, you had the doubts that came from the first time when you were rejected, from just even some of the rejections after, like everything that you went through, the GRE exams, like what can you say now? Like what is one, like just kind of summarize it for us as like words of wisdom, because hindsight is always 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what can you say for us as pre-PTs who are about to apply? Because a lot of the people that are either watching this live or on replay are applying this cycle. Like what can you say to us, like amidst the fear, the stress, the anxiety that comes with this? Maybe we're applying again. Maybe we, like, what can you tell us so that we can, because success leaves clues. Like what can you
Mm-hmm.
tell us so that we can, as pre-PTs, have what it takes to ultimately get across the finish line?
If you have a goal, do whatever it takes to get there. Like, because although you may feel like you're going to be in a struggle right now, this struggle is actually going to help you give yourself tools to keep pushing to whatever it is that's going to
Mm,
be your next mountain. Because getting into PT school, yeah, that was difficult, but that's not the end. Like, it's not the end. You still got to go
yeah,
through PT school,
yeah,
and that's going to be difficult. But at least um, having that like struggle, this struggle is actually going to help you realize that you have what it takes to actually complete what you need to do. Because honestly, if I would have got accepted into PT school right away, I wouldn't have made it. Like I tell myself this all the time because I did not have the confidence that I have in myself today that I did back then. Like,
hmm,
like it's wild. But the thing is, you just keep pushing. Like, does it? Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something.
ooh, let them
Do
know.
not let
Let
anybody
them
tell
know.
you, especially if you know in your like if you know yourself that you can do it. Don't let anyone else like take you off of your track, and always have people to pull you back. Like that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
simple as that. Sylvia, so dang proud of you. Y'all listen. It's it's beautiful to watch your friends grow. Um, and that's what this has really been. It's just watching fam grow and watching you develop into the very deserving doctor of physical therapy student that you are. Like you are very deserving of your accomplishment of getting into PT school. So extremely proud of you.
Mm,
But really, I mean, I know it's crazy to even think about. I really know it's crazy to think about. But there are so many students that needed to hear this message. See, Leah, like they needed to hear it. And so your experience, I know it did not feel like this. Your experience is going to speak to a lot of different people. So keep sharing it. Keep inspiring free PTs like yourself,
of
because
course.
that's what it's supposed to be about. That's what it's supposed to be about. Because the dream, like, was it worth it though? To
Oh
ultimately
yes, it
get to it?
is.
Good. So the dream that you wanted, you didn't have to settle for a plan B. Like everyone who's live right now, just say no plan Bs. Comment no
That's
plan
right.
Bs.
That's right.
Comment no plan Bs. Because I
That's
mean, if you,
right.
the thing is, you can't really play all out if you're having plan Bs anyway, right? And so just comment no plan Bs, because really that's what Sylvia's story speaks on. Despite the struggle, despite the ups and downs, despite the anxiety, despite the stress, despite the frustration, no plan Bs, but also like find the people, like find your people, find some direction, clarity on what you should be doing to make sure that you're not shooting in the dark. The first time you
Mm-hmm.
applied, shooting in the dark. Second time you applied, you did not shoot in the dark. Like it was a
Exactly.
bit of a
Exactly.
different process. Like we had to kind of navigate a few things, but you were not. You were not. And so that's what has gotten you to this point. You deserve it. Significantly, insanely proud of you. Y'all, no plan
Thanks.
Bs.
Thank you.
No plan Bs. If you guys are applying right now, if you're a student that's applying right now, and you're saying, okay, I'm exactly where Sylvia was, and you want some direction, something to just give you some footing on what you should be doing, how you should be navigating it, taking you on a similar journey to the one that Sylvia was on, I want you guys to go to www.preptblueprint.com. www.preptblueprint.com. Casey and I do a 3-part training for you for free. And then after that, we want to get on the phone with you. Once you finish it, let's get on the phone, send us a message, say, hey, I would love to get on the phone with y'all, and we'll talk to you for free. Like we consult for a certain amount of money, but we just want to help you. So let's get on the phone for free. Let's get you on your journey to just having some clarity and knowing what you need to do, having the tools that you need to get you to where Sylvia's at. Because Sylvia, doesn't it taste
Yes.
good?
Oh,
Doesn't it
yes,
taste
it
good to get there?
does.
It tastes good,
Finally.
doesn't it?
Finally.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like finally after all this work. But for anybody and everyone on here, great to have you on here. Thank you guys so much. Casey, thank you for putting it on there. www.preptblueprint.com. Sylvia, thank you. Have an amazing evening, everybody. Y'all have a great Wednesday night. Many blessings. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
All right.